Disconnected is a 2D side-scrolling puzzle and platforming game that emphasizes the player character's ability to separate itself into 3 pieces. Disconnected's main character is a robot that is able to freely disconnect his head, arms, or legs from the rest of his body. Each body part features its own unique abilities, and each is crucial in navigating various areas and encounters throughout the game. Typical gameplay will have the player run, crawl, climb, jump, and dash over hazardous obstacles and throw their head at switches, enemies, and destructible objects. Each level is completed when all 3 body parts reach the goal.
While the final incarnation of Disconnected is characterized by its platforming elements and fast-paced gameplay, the initial version of the game featured a more deliberate traversal mechanic and a much slower pace. The original idea for Disconnected came from the question, what if you combined Angry Birds with Super Mario Bros? With that basic premise in mind, our team began working on balancing a unique physics-based throwing mechanic with creative and engaging level design.
After developing our main character's movement and throwing capabilities, we discovered the potential fun to be had in just jumping and flinging the robot around the testing environment. We then shifted our focus to expanding the game's platform elements while broadening the player's traversal capabilities. The legs were given an air dash, the arms could climb ladders, and the head became an indestructible weapon. With our main character fully fleshed out and realized, we began designing levels based on these new mechanics. While keeping IPM implementation and a loose story narrative in mind, our team quickly turned out almost 50 distinct levels. It was during this period of creative explosion that the various interactable items, hazardous objects, and enemy types began to take shape. Unfortunately, this is also when we began to encounter our first critical issues and failed experiments.
Halfway through the development cycle, we attempted to add support for gaming controllers as an alternative to keyboard and mouse controls. As our characters' radial throwing and dash abilities were created with the intention of using a mouse, integrating an input for controllers proved disastrous, and the idea was eventually discarded. Soon afterward, we began to find multiple issues with player and object collision, platforms disappearing, and various other bugs that seemingly came from nowhere. The group then assessed our situation, developed a plan, and tasked our strongest programmers with retooling our player characters' raycasting and collision components. By halting progress on the game in order for the team to calmly assess and correct these issues, we saved ourselves countless amounts of time and frustration.
Once we felt that our foundation was solidified, we refined our collection of enemies and hazards and cut the level count by half. This allowed the team to trim the game to a palatable size while retaining the core gameplay experience. After receiving our assets and original music, countless hours were spent spriting levels, adding sounds, and applying the final coat of polish. If our time working on Disconnected has taught us anything, it was the importance of proper planning, communication, and time management. At its heart, Disconnected is much more than 3 parts of a cool robot. It's the actual blood, sweat, and tears of a team passionate about wanting to make something awesome, and we hope this is evident in our final product.